Hello and welcome, everyone. And like Karen said, let us know your favorite dessert. I'm Katie Berrytold, and I'm on the team for the Quick Start Intensive. I'm thrilled to welcome our new coaches into the Quick Start Intensive. I'm so excited to see your successes in the coming months. In a moment, you will hear from Karen Capello, Master Certified Coach and Trailblazer for coaches everywhere. If you are a business, executive, or leadership coach seeking to take your business to new heights and learn from a proven expert, I encourage you to schedule a call with us. Karen's insights and guidance could be the catalyst for your business's transformation. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Karen Capello, a Master Certified Coach and a true inspiration to coaches worldwide, for Day 3, Unlocking Your Revenue Stability, the symbiotic power of consistent marketing. Over to you, Karen.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you for your kind words. That's so lovely. Yes, today we're going to talk about unlocking revenue stability. And I can't believe it's the official final day. And I'm going to read through every single ice cream in the chat because I want to try them all. I'm an ice cream person. So how does it feel being on Day 3? Have you enjoyed it so far? Do you feel energized? A little tired with all this information? Yes, a little. I'm with you. But who's ready to use AI to turbocharge your marketing? I'm going to put up 2 hands because I really am. I'm all about leveraging. All right. So I just want to take a quick poll. On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready do you feel to achieve the goal that you set on Day 1? You know, we talked about what was Tammy upgraded GPT. Olivia's a 7. Okay, where are you on? And wherever you are is perfect. Lenny, a 10. All right. Yay. I want to increase that number today. So Lenny, we might, and Holly, we might have to put you at 11. When I was in coach training, my mentor, she would always, if you did a scale of 1 to 10, she'd always do like 15. I don't even know what that means, but that was what it was. So remember, it takes at least 7 contacts to get a sale. And we're going to talk about how to do that. And I just want to say to all of you, it really warms my heart to see how much you want to help others. You're spending your time learning to get over any hesitation, to put yourself out there so that you can help others be the highest versions of themselves. The coaching is the easy part. The marketing is the harder part for us. Who agrees with that? That's so true for me, really. I'm so excited for the coaches who have already signed up to work with us over the next 3 months. You want to skip the trial and error and master marketing using AI and save a lot of time. And I really appreciate your trust in me and my team. And we don't take that for granted. AI is not going to go away anytime soon. In fact, it's going to get a lot bigger, right? So I'm excited at the results that it can bring us. Quick reminder, we love to give prizes. So there'll be another raffle for everyone who's on the call live and gives a takeaway at the end of today. We'll send that out in an email. So we're still in the learning phase. And then Kevin, who was the winner for participating and takeaway yesterday?
Yeah, it was Chloe Payer. So congratulations.
Oh, congratulations, Chloe, on your way to Naples, winning a gift card. Fantastic. And I know that there are some here who are already using AI and you've shared some programs with Kevin. We've got a list going already. We'll send that out to you. If there's anything else you're using, send a message to Kevin. So here's where we've been. Day 1, we took a deep dive into client motivation and your marketing magnetism. We talked about how to have confidence and be magnetic by getting into your essence energy, using AI to create social media graphics that show your best self, envision your goal, and identify your ideal client. So by now, I know many of you have already started experimenting with AI. We heard about it here. Well done. Yesterday, we spoke about automating prosperity, what goes on in market research conversations, mistakes to avoid. We calculated the number of conversations you need to get to your goal and how AI can help you. So today is about unlocking revenue stability. And there's one more assignment today that I'll share at the end of this call. After this hour, the formal part of the quarterly business boost training will, for 2023, in fact, this is our last one for the year, will officially end. And there's more for those who have upgraded to VIP. We have quite a big group of VIP. So you'll be with us on Monday for the call where we're demoing all of the AI. And even if you haven't upgraded to VIP, if you've signed up for QSI, you're still going to be invited to that call. For those who have registered for QSI, I want you to get your session with me scheduled as soon as possible. I've already had a couple people schedule their sessions. Good job. You should have received the link. And I want to make sure you're ready to take action and hit the ground running. We say fasten your seatbelt, and here we go. And we start on Halloween. Costumes are not necessary, but could happen. Connie, I don't know. Do you have a witch's hat over there? Less than 2 weeks away. And I'm excited for those who know that this is what you want to do. By the way, we will be taking the last 2 weeks of the year for a break. So the group that's starting on Halloween will go through the end of January. You have a little extra time. And the next thing I want to do is announce our Amazon gift card for doing their assignment. And I think we had, Katie, I think we wanted to give a little extra time for that.
Yeah, I just think it was a big ask because I know we were asking for 12 reach outs, which you might not all have had the time to do yesterday, and we completely understand that. So if you are able to complete that by tomorrow at 10, we're making that the deadline for the prize. So all you need to do is either send me a DM saying that you did the assignment or an email. Either way works great.
Yes, and the assignment was send out 12 requests for market research conversations. So I know it's a big assignment. Even if you send out a few, it will get you moving. It will get things rolling. So I want to encourage you, even if you didn't have the 12. So let's share some takeaways. What did you learn yesterday? Just in like one phrase or a sentence, what has stayed with you overnight from what happened for us yesterday? Just go ahead and type that in. For me, I realized how fully present I want to be for all of these conversations. I want to let go of any of my mind chatter and doubt and be there to serve the person I'm with. And it's not easy to put all that aside. I want to help. In fact, one of my mentors says that coaching is so natural and uplifting to us that we would pay our clients for the privilege of working with them. I have felt this many times because I enjoy it so much. Now, I don't recommend that you pay your clients. That would be an unsustainable business model for sure. Yet you want to work with clients where that feeling is present. That feeling of just, boy, I would pay to do this. The energy of service in these sessions was my biggest takeaway. So let's see what some of yours were. Oh, the 1241. Yep. The numbers, really, the reminder of the rule of 7. Master research conversations, importance of multiple relevant follow-ups, using AI to automate. So much, but choosing one, it will be how MRC can be a value enhancer and perspective shift. AI writing the report, yep, create and sustain market research to feed my pipeline of ideal clients. This is beautiful. And I'm really happy that so many of you like the numbers game, because when you put it into a numbers game, you can see how possible things are. Iris, pay more attention to my essence energy. Yes. And you know, Iris, I know you're working with widows, and so it takes something for your essence energy to be so strong, because theirs is dim at that time of their life. We've been watching Heartland, I mentioned, and there's one place where, Virginia, you've seen it. I don't want any spoiler alerts, but there's one place where there is a widow, and it's tough. And we're both crying our eyes out, you know, crazy. But I do understand that it really is a big deal. And most of us, even with clients who aren't in grieving, everyone's been traumatized by the pandemic. So we've got people in all sorts of places. So keeping our essence energy strong is really, really important. And I want to share something with you. You and I are very similar. Okay. We each have our own set of coaching experiences. And there are clients that would rather coach with you than me. And I'm saying this because it's so easy to say, oh, Karen, you've had so many years of coaching, you've done all these things. It's easy for you to say. But my mentor told me when I was a brand new coach, that there were people that would rather coach with me than him. And he was charging $100,000 a year. And I thought, there's no way. But I did have clients that said to me, they felt more aligned with me than him. So I want you to know the biggest difference between you and me is that I have mastered a formula for client enrollment that you may not have mastered yet. And I've been practicing for years, right? That they say practice makes perfect, right? And I do hear from some coaches that they haven't had a new client, maybe in a couple months, or they don't have the revenue they'd envisioned by now, or even it's not your business to coach someone else's clients. Yes. Some are saying they have months here and there that are amazing, but they haven't been able to sustain that. So let's learn how AI can help bring in revenue in less time and bring in more cash. And if you had more cash in your business, what could you do? You could hire some more support. And because AI can do some of these things, you could hire maybe a virtual assistant that wasn't as expensive. Or you could hire a higher level support. You could spend more time with your family. You can make a bigger impact. You can take that dream vacation. Anybody got any dream vacations they want to take? Now, Jamie, I know you just took an amazing dream vacation through Europe. So today I'm going to show you how to have consistency in your marketing. And remember Alex Hormozi, it takes a lot more eyeballs on your stuff than you think to get to your goals. So remember that 12-4-1. You want to reach out to at least 48 potential ideal clients per month for conversations, 12 per week. Now, by reaching out, I mean, you can send them a message and say, how are you? So this doesn't have to be rocket science, but it's connecting with people. It's looking at people you knew. And your Rolodex is going to take you through a month or two. And then you may want to reach beyond your circle. So when you want to reach beyond your circle, then you can use some of AI, use some posts, and get yourself out there in an authentic way. And another way to reach beyond your circle is to ask at the end of every single market research conversation, who else should I talk to? Who else needs to be included in this research? So if you had 4 conversations a week and you said to each person, who else can I talk to? And they gave you 1, now you have 4 more that you didn't know. But I've always found that people who introduce me to others, the people who are introduced are always so happy to meet with me because we have something in common. And you probably know I'm a little over the top. So if I write something, I'll say, hi, Susie, I'd like to introduce you to the amazing Connie Weitzel. She does this and I think you should meet her. And I try to acknowledge everyone, and really lift them up. So I want to say, I also want to share about QSI a little bit that sets us apart from others. And it actually is what we're hearing here. Yes, Katie, I agree. Connie is amazing. But it's what happens here too. We keep our groups in cohorts that start and end together. We build a strong sense of community and trust. And I want to say this, I've gotten into a couple different programs in the past year that cost double the pricing of QSI, but there was no sense of community. And pricing really, we can put pricing aside because it doesn't really matter in this sense. But everyone was put in a large online group and you could ask your questions there. And I always felt so nervous, like I'm putting my question out there into, space where people are looking at my question. I don't even know who they are. And then we were given a portal to watch videos by ourselves. And it was really impersonal and cold. And we don't do things that way. Now, some people like that, and I know they do because there's tons of people in these programs, but we want warmth. We want to teach you to work with warm connections. Our last QSI group called themselves a team. They consider themselves a team. That is so amazing. And the average that the coaches have made in groups, all the way from the beginning, is around 10,000 a month. So that's the average. Not only that, if you do want to get into our QSI group now, you'll be the first group to utilize AI with this process. So are you an early adopter? I've always been an early adopter. So I just wanted to share all of that with you. Quick Start Formula has changed the trajectory of many businesses. You're going to hear from two coaches today. One of them is the amazing Connie Weitzel, and the other is the amazing Kathy Lambert. And they're going to share tips on reaching $10,000 months and beyond. So listen to their tips, because we can say it's $10,000 months and beyond, but what does that mean? You're serving more clients, you're helping more people, you're increasing the evolution of consciousness in the world. So when you hear these interviews that I'm going to do today, I want you to listen for the tips, but I also want you to listen for how you could interview one of your coaches and one of your clients. I want you to listen to how you could do this for your own business and listen for those questions. And maybe you have other questions you want to ask too. Now, these two coaches are from different parts of the country. They're in different niches, and they've all used the Quick Start model. Remember those 4 C's to grow their business. So listen to them and get all of the gold that they have to give you. I do want to help you get over any hesitation, any excuses. By the way, we all make excuses, myself included. I want having social proof, having people share can help with that. And you're going to love what these two have to share with you. I remember the hesitation I had to join a program with a coach who was working with others that were much further along than me. This was many years ago. And he told me that the average that coaches were making per quarter in the program was $54,000. Now, there were people that were making 6 figures plus in a quarter in that program. And here's little old me, right? And at the time, I was making half of that. And the investment was more than I had ever paid for a group program. But I like to invest, I like to find out, and I want to get there faster and easier. And I set that goal of 55,000 because I've always been a little bit above average, and I made it. And here's what happened. I didn't have many sales in the first month. I was doing the work, I was creating momentum, but by the second and third months, and actually the last week, I surpassed my goal. So it took me till last week, but it happened. When I started out in my coaching business, I had 3 coaches for the first 3 months. And I also had 8 paying clients in my second month. So I want these kind of results for you. And I want you to be able to make a decision today. A quick reminder before we get into the content, because we do have a lot to cover today. The Quick Start Intensive is a 12-week program. And the payment is $7,000 up front or $1,750 per month for 4 months. And we did have 2 bonuses yesterday that are gone, but we still have 2 that are coming. So think about what kind of return on investment you could get. And by the way, we do have third-party funding. So if you're interested and you don't have the cash flow in your business right now, because it happens to all of us, talk to Katie and see what's possible. Okay, so I have been running a mid 6-figure business for years now, and my clients have done it too. So I want you to have that kind of support. I want you to have a close-knit community of coaches. And I want you to get started. I want you to imagine a bright future. Maybe you've been telling yourself, I don't have the time. I tell myself this every day because I always want more time. Maybe you say, I'm in another program. Maybe you say, I'm not ready. So here's a little awareness. Even if you're in another program, you're here today. And that tells me there's something more that's going to get you to your goal. So think about that. Now, I want to talk to you about the market research conversation and the follow-up. We talked about market research conversations yesterday. Here's the thing. There's an underlying energy going on during follow-up, and you may not even be aware of it. So I want you to bring it to your attention today. In order to gain clients and income, we need to learn to ask for and receive what we want. Okay? So what I've noticed is that in general, coaches are givers, not receivers. How many givers do I have on the line? Quite a few. Yes. I was the oldest of 6 kids at 10. I'm a giver. We help people around us. It's so natural. And I will say, as a leader, I was not used to receiving at all. In fact, I wasn't even great at asking. I had the kind of this Lone Ranger mentality, but you really do need to develop your receiving muscle to receive clients, to receive income. And here's my journey. I'm a very self-sufficient person. In fact, I can take all my groceries in the car on one time, right? Because I don't want to make 2 trips. Now I have Instacart or whatever that is, but my sweetie wants to do things for me all the time. And he'll be in the kitchen. He'll say, would you like a glass of water? Can I clean your glasses for you? And if I say no, he has this crestfallen look on his face. So now I've learned to say, yes, please. And living in the desert, it's always good to drink water, but I try to say yes to everything. He gives me the glass of water. I appreciate him. Everybody's happy. So during the follow-up phase, you want to be open to receive those clients. Look for ways that you might be blocking your capacity to receive. I wasn't even aware of how much I was blocking until I met my sweetie. This is a gift he gives me every day. Think about where you can expand your capacity to receive. Who's heard that having a coaching business is a courageous act of self-development? This is absolutely true. Good thing we coaches are into self-development, but it takes a lot of courage. So learning to receive is something you want to develop. Get your receiving muscle going. And as you follow up, as you make offers, as you get into enrollment conversations, look to where you might be blocking and try to up your game. Because in a coaching business, we're asking for referrals, we're asking for appointments, we're asking for introductions. And if you're asking with an energy of blocking, people are going to say no or not now. And it may even be really confusing to you. It always was to me. You might wonder, we had such a great conversation, everything lined up. Why are they saying no? Check your energy. If your energy is blocked, that's the reason why. They won't even know why they're saying no. They'll pull an excuse out. So watch for this underlying energy and learn to pay attention to it. Strengthen your receiving muscle. Let me ask you, if you had to gauge your receiving muscle on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is your receiving muscle? 10 is like, hey, I'm ready to receive everything. And 1 is not as strong as I'd like it to be. What would you have? Oh, and Joan Claire, the energy block release in QSI. Yes, we do that because it's important for you to receive. So let's see. Oh, Deanna, 5. Yes. Beautiful. 5. Okay. Pretty high up. 9. Good job, Lenny. 7, 4, 4, 8. Okay. So wherever you are, learn to strengthen your muscle, get over any old patterns. And yes, we do bring in an expert to clear blockers. And we are there, Connie and I are there, in this particular one, Connie's our leader. We're there for any mindset issues that arise on a weekly basis. This is important. So while you're working on the inner game of receiving, there are also external strategies that you want to use for follow-up. And AI can help you with this. And I'm going to share a few of them. First of all, you want to follow up on every conversation. We talked about that. You can follow up with a thank you note. I used to send these $1 million bills that I got at the Walgreens. I think I paid $1.50 for them, but I would send, and I would say, thanks a million. And people would call me up and say, Karen, can I have some more? Because I'm giving them my grandkids, you know? So thank you note, white paper with a compilation. We've already talked about that. You can send an email summarizing what you heard them say. All of the awareness is valuable, and all of this can be done quickly with AI. You also want to relate to people on a personal basis. So my first year-long client, who I worked with many years ago, came from a conversation that began with what it was like to be a hospice volunteer. Do I have any hospice volunteers on the call here? It's a very special kind of a thing. It's a very special work. And I saw it on her LinkedIn profile. And when we opened up our conversation, I asked her about it. And it established an immediate trust. We both knew a bunch of things about each other right away, because there's a certain profile of a person who does that kind of volunteering. It's a shorthand. Connie, who is going to join us shortly, she helps with dog rescue. How many people have a dog? Lots of people I know have, oh yes, Iris, I know you have those Scotty dogs, right? So lots of people have dogs, right? And many of her clients can relate to that. And everyone knows what type of a person she is just by the fact that she's helping with dog rescue. So make those human connections, really make those human connections. Decide what your follow-up sequence will be. Find 6 or 7 follow-up pieces that you can send. Make sure you have an ideal client and an urgent challenge in mind. For example, there are many different challenges for leadership coaches. You could work with different levels of leadership, senior leaders, managers, nonprofit leaders. You could work with different challenges, team cohesiveness, productivity, engagement, communication. So then we got to put them together. Team cohesiveness for senior leaders or team cohesiveness for managers. So you want to have that specific ideal client and specific challenge to focus on. And that's going to help you with all of your follow-up, because you can create the same follow-up sequence and use it again and again. Communicate at least 7 times for at least 90 days. So that's the most important part of this. Also, another way to follow up is to have a case study ready to use for follow-up purposes. You can do this in a video or you can have it written up. And that brings me to introducing you to 2 case studies of mine. And I want you to be really inspired as to how easy it is to create a case study. And by the way, these 2 coaches have had results without even adding AI to our program yet. So their results are going to be even better in the future. As I bring them on, let go of any mind chatter, get in your essence energy, release comparison, because when we hear about case studies, sometimes there's a tendency to compare. Let go of that comparison and take advantage of the wisdom that they're going to share. So the first one is the amazing Kathy Lambert. So Kevin, can we spotlight Kathy? Oh, there she is. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Karen.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. Kathy, would you just let everyone, Kathy is a spark plug, I've got to tell you. So tell everyone your name, what you do, and where you're from.
Well, my name is Kathy Lambert, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm the CEO of KBL Impact Partners, and we work with nonprofit organizations.
To help them with funding, right?
Yes, helping them to scale their impact and diversify their funding. Yeah, thank you, Karen.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Kathy, what was your business like in your life before you joined QSI, the Quick Start Intensive?
So before QSI, my husband and I are co-founders of a nonprofit organization, Connections to Success, which we ran for 23 years. And we transitioned our roles in January of 2021 and decided to begin a new business. And we thought we wanted to help other nonprofit leaders with training and coaching. But we really didn't know how to begin and what we needed to do. And so I met Karen, which was amazing, and referred to her from a mutual friend. And when I met Karen, I remember Karen just talking with you too about, okay, I just need a system. I need a structure. I need a system. I need to know how to do this. So some of you, if you're thinking, okay, I need a system and a structure, this is it. And one of our biggest challenges was knowing if there was really a market for our service. And in QSI, we learned the power of market research conversations. And just as Karen was just talking about, market research conversations to me are gold because I really learned a lot about how to deliver our service, what topics, what we needed to do, and how to really structure our training. And this is what I found then through QSI. I learned the system and I had structure and to be able to jumpstart our business.
Yes. And Kathy, what were the results?
Oh my goodness. The results were incredible. And actually, I think really surprised my husband and I. To date, we have worked with over 60 nonprofit organizations, and we do our training in cohorts of 12, similar to QSI, and they have raised over $4 million in the 12 weeks. And if you think about it, that's a 12-to-1 return on investment. And it's really about helping other nonprofits to be able to scale their impact in this world and for them to be able to interact with each other and learn from each other. It's been absolutely incredible.
Oh my gosh. And Kathy, I just get goosebumps watching you and Brad live out your mission. And what happened with you? What were your personal and professional results for the two of you?
Well, a dream that we had, which was really kind of on our bucket list, and especially coming from a nonprofit world, just thinking about, I don't know if this is even possible, but to be able to go to Arizona. And our dream was, wouldn't it be great if we could go to Arizona 2 months out of the winter time to enjoy hiking and just to get away from the cold weather and enjoy the beautiful sun. And we've been able to do that. It was even our first year within 6 months after launching our program and business, we were able to then to go to Tucson for 2 months and have been enjoying that and absolutely love it. Someday we'll be there.
Yes, I know that. Are you coming back this winter?
Well, we have a grandbaby due, so our time may be a little bit different this year. We have a grandbaby due in January, but hopefully we will definitely get out there sometime.
Oh, that's great, Kathy. And financially, I know you guys made 6 figures in your first year, yes?
Yes, we did. And it was our goal. I know through QSI, it was our goal. And we were almost there, like after, the 12 weeks. But then we quickly made it. And with QSI, what it did, it helped us to build that momentum. And that momentum just kept going and skyrocketing. And it was just incredible. And I hope it's okay that I say this too, that, one of the things with QSI is that peer support. And Karen, you mentioned that the last group, talked about as a team. And that's how I felt within the QSI group that I was in as well, because it's kind of lonely being able to start your own business and then to be able to have that peer support was really key. And it's been was it almost 2.5 years since I did the first QSI, and I'm still connected to my peer support partner. In fact, we did a conference together last Friday. And so there's power in having that group together.
That was so funny because your peer support partner was actually in St. Louis. You two had never met.
Right.
Oh, look at you doing stuff together. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Kathy, what would you say to anyone who's thinking about joining the Quick Start Intensive?
I would just say if you're looking to jumpstart your business, have a system that is proven, that works, and a structure. Hands down, this is by far the best program ever. And it works. It works if you work it. And if you take the tools and do what Karen, shares, and Connie shares what they share, it works. And I can tell you that I had COVID last winter, and I was not able to work for over a month. So everything kind of had stopped for me. And so I joined QSI again because I knew that it would jumpstart my business. And it did. And it's been going ever since. So I just feel like QSI is a part of our business, not just at the beginning, but it's always a part of our business and what we do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Kathy. And congratulations, Grandma.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited. The little girl.
A little girl. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. That's great. Well, Kathy, thank you for doing the work and helping these nonprofits get funding so that they can continue their mission in the world. I really appreciate you. Isn't Kathy amazing? Let's give her a round of applause.
Oh, thank you.
She is amazing. And so let's go to our next interview with the amazing Connie Weitzel. And there are a couple things I want to say about Connie. First of all, I reached out to Connie in early 2020. And I thought she was like so far beyond whatever I could do. And I actually sent her a message and said, I think you might be working with another coach, but if you're not, would you consider it? And she said yes to me. So I want to say, look, if you're nervous about getting with somebody, just ask them. This is the receiving muscle. And Connie has a business background. She has an MBA, and she's still enrolled in back-to-back Quick Start Intensive for the last few years. Okay, so Connie, come on down and tell us, where are you from and what is your business about?
I don't know if I like seeing myself so big on the screen,
I
but
know.
thank you for having me. And Karen, I'm so glad that you did reach out. Karen had been my trainer in coach training years before that, and we had kept in touch, and the timing was absolutely perfect. So I'm really glad that you made that point. My business is called Scattered to Streamlined Business Coaching, and I do work primarily with solo business owners, helping them grow their businesses faster by taking them from a state of overwhelm and scatteredness to streamlining their operations and marketing and management of self. So let's see, that's a tricky question where I'm from. I'm a Midwest born and raised, but for the last several years, I've lived in New York State. And just last month, we moved to the capital region of New York around Albany, Saratoga Springs.
All right. And Connie, what was your business in life like before you joined the Quick Start Intensive?
It was very hit or miss. I remember the month before I joined QSI, I was feeling really discouraged. I think I had something like a $400 to $500 month, and I was really questioning what I was doing. I felt like I was throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying different things, and really wasn't sure what was going to work. So I was feeling a lot of discouragement and unsurety about that. So I'm thinking about even getting out of coaching.
Wow. And so since you joined, what has the Quick Start formula done for your business? Obviously, you're still in coaching, so that's a good thing.
Yes. I mean, from the very beginning, Karen mentioned, I am definitely a QSI repeater. I attended for pretty much 3 years straight. And it was because every single cohort, my business got better and better. The first cohort that I joined, in the second month, I had a $4,000 revenue month, which, for some might not sound like a lot, but for me, having had that $400 month, it was so encouraging having that. Karen talks about the importance of the numbers. That, boy, that was one of the most impactful learnings. And I know now what my outreach needs to be. I know if I consistently have 3 to 5 conversations a week, whether they're market research or enrollment or follow-up conversations, my business pipeline will be filled. I've also been able to incorporate so much more into my business, right? My social media presence is so much stronger. I started a private Facebook group. I do master classes. I started a local online networking group that's on during the pandemic that's grown to about 3,000 people. And I would not have done any of those, or I would have done them much more slowly, if it hadn't been for QSI.
Yes, Connie, you are booming. And what have some of your results been, both professionally and personally?
Professionally, it has been, you talk about serving clients, and that really being our purpose. And I have been able to work with so many business owners and helping them achieve their dreams. That has been really, really powerful for me. I pretty much have had a consistently full client roster for the last couple of years, probably. And when I want it to slow down, which I did when we moved last month, I needed some more time, I could do that. And I knew just what I needed to do to rev it back up again, which is where I'm at now. I just had a great conversation this morning with someone who's going to be a wonderful referral partner here in my new area. So professionally, learning that system and being able to apply it when I need it has been amazing. Personally, as you know, I was able to make a personal dream come true that actually is professional as well. I had a lake house on my vision board for years and years and years. And in 2021, I found that perfect place and was able to purchase it, maintain it entirely on my income. So I could take some pressure off of my husband. So that can be a retirement place for us. But I had also always envisioned bringing clients there for strategizing retreats. And I do that now. I have at least 2 to 3 clients up at the lake house pretty much every month, helping them get away from their own business space and open up their minds and really strategize to create that plan so they can grow their business. So it's been a dream come true, both professionally and personally.
Connie, I remember when you got that lake house, everybody was like so excited. So what would you say? You are going to be our leader for the group that's starting in October, at the end of this month. What would you say to anyone who's thinking about joining this group?
I'm going to say the same thing I said on the last QBB, because I think just straightforward for anyone who's thinking about it, or if you're on the fence, go to Nike saying, just do it. Just jump in. You will not regret it.
Thank you, Connie. I'm so excited to have you with us, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, you've heard from a couple coaches, and I want you to think right now, maybe there's a client that you know that you can reach out to them and get your first case study in the books, and get a couple people like Kathy and Connie, who have so much enthusiasm. Find out, what was it that they got out of your program? If you want to get the questions, listen to the replay, and use the questions that I asked them with each and every client you have. And you can have AI write up your case studies for you. Go on, have it on Zoom, put it on a transcript, and have them work. Now, I would like to share quickly how to transition from a market research conversation to an enrollment conversation, because we were talking about that earlier. This is the topic of our bonus masterclass, so I'm going to go deeply into this. But for right now, I want to give you just a little nugget, the basics. So first of all, if you're in a market research conversation and you think this is someone that you can help, that you want to work with, don't jump in right away. You don't want this to look like bait and switch. So you want to end the conversation, the market research. If somebody says, hey, I think maybe we might be able to work together. End the conversation and say, okay, I want to invite you to a different kind of conversation, and that's an enrollment conversation. And make sure you put a boundary on that so they know that it's something different. Thank them for helping you with the research. And then set up a time within the next 48 hours. Even if it's right then, just make sure you put that boundary. This keeps it clear and keeps you in integrity. Now, if you're wondering what to do in that enrollment conversation, we do have a complete outline for that, and go over that with our groups. Those who are joining us will have access to all the content, but this is the cliff notes on the transition. If there's someone you want to work with and they're not ready to move into the enrollment conversation, then you can continue to reach out. And I saw this, Marissa, you wrote 7 times in 90 days. Ouch, it feels like a lot. It can feel like a lot. But if you ask ChatGPT, give me 7 different resources that I can send out for my ideal client, and they can create 7 of those, you've got that. It can happen that quickly. And as long as your ideal client is the same and the challenge is the same, you can use the same resources for everyone. So thanks for asking that question, because it does sound like a lot, but it can be done very quickly when it's focused. Can everyone see that? Like, you can do that so quickly when you have the same client, the same challenge. And when you have consistent follow-up, you have consistent income. Okay. So that is what we're looking for. Now, I want to wrap up here, and in a few minutes, I'm going to ask you to do your takeaways. Not yet. You've heard from 2 amazing clients in very different industries. We do start our QSI on the 31st, and I've got some good news and bad news, right? So I want to share my screen here. Let's see where I am. Okay, screen 2. I think you can see, can you see fast action bonuses? Yes. Yes. Okay. So 2 of our fast action bonuses are gone, but 2 of them are still with us. So if you were to sign up by midnight tonight, you get the masterclass of shifting from an MRC to an enrollment conversation, and you get $1,000 savings. So if you know you want to be in QSI, this is the time to do it. Now, I want to share something. I'm going to go into our next slide. Let's see if I can okay. So I got a call last night from one of our people who was in QSI, who saw yesterday what I had shared in my slides. And here's the thing, I was trying to share in terms of pricing, a very realistic on the low side of pricing, because I don't like when marketers put high inflated pricing on everything. Like, hey, you're going to get this, and you're going to get this, and you're going to get this. That's not me. But this person said to me, Karen, I really think what you're giving is a lot more of a value than what you put up there. So I'd like to, it was good feedback. I'd like you to look at that. So I did look at that and what's included in our QSI. And what I put towards the top there is the people. And by the way, I'm an award-winning coach. I was before, but I just got an award last week, so I can say that. And if you get an award, put it out there, because it makes people be excited about working with you. So I'm an award-winning coach. So you'll get weekly calls, coaching calls with me, and then the bi-weekly training and take action calls with your group leader. We have PCC coaches, and I know they're on their way to MCC. These coaches have all made 6 figures using the Quick Start formula, so they know what they're doing. They're amazing. You just saw Connie we would get Kathy in to help, to be a leader, but Kathy's got her own groups that she's running. So I don't think I can talk her into that right now. We have another group leader, Gaia, who is the president of the ICF chapter in Oman, doing a huge summit this week. We have Robin from the Netherlands, and he is one of the highest certifications of positive intelligence. He's working. He's also a top coach at Ezra. So I want you to know, I want to brag on these people a little bit. It's not we just didn't pull these people out of the air. They are amazing. And you get a clarity call. You get the blocker release session, which we talked about with Joan Claire wrote that in the chat. You do get your online program, your framework with the templates, videos, and forms. You get a group jumpstart meeting, program bonuses, weekly progress reports, reviews. This is so important. This made a big difference in my business. Every Friday, we ask everyone in the group to do a progress report with 5 quick questions. It will show you where you're at, and it will show us where you might need some help. And then unlimited support and accountability. We're here for you. This is very true. We go above and beyond. If we see that somebody is not doing as well as we know they can, we'll reach out. So I want you to know that one of my company values is generosity, and it really is true. So the total value here is $31,300, and then we have more, just a little bit more. We do have contests like we have here, and we give. You can get coaching calls with me or Connie. We give out some beautiful e-cards. We do a lot of other things like that to just make it fun. And then you will get a peer learning partner support you along the way. So I really could easily say that there is $40,000 worth of value. And I want to thank the coach who came to me yesterday and said, look, you need to really brag a little bit more on your program. And it feels awkward for me. I will be honest with you. It feels awkward, but I'm so proud of this program. I'm so proud of our mission to get coaches to be properly paid for all of that. Lenny, what if you can't make the live calls? Everything is recorded. Every single thing is recorded. And so if you can't make a few of the live calls, I would say still sign up. If you have another call at the exact same time, sign up for a group in the future. But this is something that I think could really revolutionize your business. Oh, yes, Jeff. I mean, Kathy and Connie are so inspiring. So I want to say, go ahead and start typing your takeaways in the chat. We do have limited spaces. Oh, I have one more thing I want to share is in the past for the alumni, people who've already taken QSI, I've offered a year of the Quick Start Intensive, which is 4 different quarters. And we've had coaches take that. And I'm going to do something different here. If you're interested in taking a year of Quick Start Intensive, we've got a great pricing for you. In fact, the pricing we have is going to be less than the cost of 2 QSI groups. If you're interested in really hitting that 6-figure year, book a call with Katie and talk to her about this and find out what is involved. And you will need to book a call with Katie to get into that year-long program, because we're not letting just anyone in. We want people who are really dedicated. But I thought, we've given this to others who have been in QSI. Why not open it up if there's somebody that really wants to do that year? What if you could meet your goals like Connie and Kathy and have these 5-figure windfalls come into your business, work with the clients you love, make a huge difference, purchase your vacation home or go away for a couple months in a nice climate? So I want you to think about this if it's something that you would like to do. Any questions, get in touch with Katie. I'm going to be on the Q&A for the next half hour, and we have a really special treat today. Rachel Shamming, who's a coach who made $1 million in her first year in coaching, works with senior leaders. She's going to be with us for this final Q&A. She just had her 83rd birthday yesterday, and I can say it because she put it on Facebook, 83. So I know she's okay with that. And she's going to update us on where she is now, and you can ask her any questions. I'll see the VIPs on Monday. I'm really excited to work with those who have signed up. Now, your assignment today, we're going to have one more drawing, and that is, there's a post, one of the posts that got the most attention for me says, hiring a coach is an investment, not an expense. And we're going to ask you to post that on LinkedIn with a comment about a client of yours who got a great ROI or something that you want to share about that. And we're going to ask you to use the hashtag quarterly business boost and post that before 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And Katie is going to collect the names and give a prize. And if you need a graphic of that post, Kevin is going to send it out with the recording today. So if you want to put your own graphic, great. If you want a graphic, you can. All right, here we go. What are we? 2 months, 2 minutes. I want to thank you for being a coach and being willing to help others to get the best version of themselves. And let's look at some of these takeaways. QSI works. It takes 7 contacts. Gratitude and thanks. Oh, thank you, Colleen. Very inspiring cases. Yeah, the stories were amazing. And those are true. You know, I want everyone to know. Create those case studies for yourself. Take away consistent follow-up and consistent income. Follow up 7 times. Create case studies. The inner game of receiving. Yeah, that's a good one too. And thank you. Oh, thank you all. So at this point, we're gonna end the formal part of the quarterly business boost. I hope to see you anywhere that you are. And we're going to go into our room with Rachel for our VIPs. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And Kevin, let's stop our recording, put us into our room with our VIPs. Thrilled to see you. And by the way, happy birthday, Rachel. I know you had a birthday
Thank
yesterday.
you. Another trip around the sun.
I know. So, Kevin, do you want to spotlight Rachel? And Rachel, can you share a little bit about like what's happened since you've been with us in QSI? What is your business like? And maybe give us a little bit on that, and then we'll open it up for questions.
All right. Well, I'll give you, I'm not sure who all is in the room, but I can give a brief summary. In January of 2020, I had lunch with Karen in Tucson. We had a lovely lunch. I still remember what each of us ate. Not that that matters at all at this point. But I was telling Karen that I had 6 more months to go on a contract with a community college, and that I really wanted to keep doing something professionally, but not necessarily 100%, like 40, 60 hours a week. And I was thinking that I really did want to focus almost exclusively on coaching. So I began working one-to-one with Karen, and we began to talk about, one of the first questions she asked me was, what was my signature program? Well, I knew what those words meant, but I didn't have a signature program. At least I didn't have a formal one. In my head, as Karen talked with me, it began to form. So in March of 2020, you all will remember what happened in March of 2020. That was when we went into a global lockdown because of COVID. Now, that is not the ideal time to start a business, more than likely. And I was 80 years old at the time. Fortunately for me, I am 83 now. So age should not be a limitation. So I joined the QSI in March. Karen was telling me about the program, and I got right out the door and started, jumped in participating, and uh, we set a goal, all of us did in the class, and I set my goal at 50,000. And we're coming through the class, and we're down to June of 2020. And I had the college where I was working offered me a $50,000 contract to do some HR consulting work. Now I can do that kind of work and have for years, but it just didn't seem like something to really get excited about. So I turned that down, but almost immediately, within a week, the college turned around and offered the same 50,000 for me to do a coaching with some senior leaders about abrasive conduct. So guess who asked me to increase my goal for that QSI? It was Karen. So I came through that QSI, I believe it was with 150,000. And I jumped in with both feet, both arms, everything. I did exactly what Karen was recommending. The market research conversations, I kept tabs on what was I doing as far as marketing. And one thing that was a big plus for me was that I had a lot of content, and I had a fairly large network. What I didn't have was social presence. So we worked on that, and Tiffany and her group helped with that, so that I got some social presence and started posting and writing articles, etc. I joined the second QSI and came through that one with, I believe it was 500,000 or 600,000. And I ended the second year. No, it was the first year. Of June 2021, I went over the $1 million mark for that year. And I was stunned. I just was really stunned. But let's back up and figure out, how did I do that? And how I did that was I reached back out to people that I knew. I reached back out to former bosses. I had conversations with them about what's happening in their life, how's it going, what's keeping them up at night. And from there, it has continued. So in the last 2 years, I have usually 5 to 6 clients. I don't do hourly billing. I do project billing. So I bill by the project or by the program. And I'm still making about 750,000 a year, and I work about no more than 30 hours a week. Normally, it's 20 to 25. So, Karen, is that enough of a capsule?
I think you are amazing, Rachel, what you have done. And it is true, like you wear your age like so proudly. And I am just so proud of you. I mean, I really am, and all that you have done. So, Rachel, should we just open it up for questions from the group?
Of course. I'm happy to answer any question if I possibly can.
Okay, who has a question for Rachel? Quiet group here. Well, Rachel, I have a question then. What is happening out in the world right now? I mean, a lot is happening out in the world, but do you find that it is not as easy to sell coaching now than maybe it was a year ago or so, or during the pandemic? What trends are you seeing?
One big trend is fear at every level. Fear of the unknown, uncertainty. We see what's happening in the broader world with terrorist attacks, and just this feeling like the earth is moving and people don't feel a solid footing. It happens at every level in organizations. There's fear about financial security. What I find is really resonating is if coaches can go into an organization and offer some type of training or program that has to do with resiliency, that has to do with change, I mean, we can fight all we want and try to resist change, and it's going to happen anyway. But what can I do? What can I learn that will make it easier for me? At the same time, that's happened. Lots of changes happening in personal lives. So yes, I do feel just selling coaching is more difficult. As you know, Karen, from my background, often I have gone in with a program of some kind. Like in my case, my specialty is dealing with leaders who are perceived as abrasive. Well, that hasn't gone away, pandemic or no. In fact, it may have gotten worse. Fear makes those behaviors get worse. So if you can go in to an organization with a brown bag lunch, some kind of training, you're going to be listening and watching for what you see in that organization. From there, you can go back to whoever the leader is and offer a program. And from the program, you can move to individual coaching. One thing that I found helpful, and I still do, is when I do a proposal, I offer free coaching to whoever the senior person is. Might be the HR person. It's often, in my case, it's either the COO or the CEO. And they really value that. There's no like, what am I going to get out of this? It's meant as I'm the sounding board. I can listen to them about what's keeping them up at night. And it's pretty scary for them. They're often very alone. There's no 2 or 3 CEOs. There's just one. So I suggest going in with some type of program, but not necessarily calling it coaching. It's kind of a hybrid, like coaching and consulting. And of course, we do different things depending on what we're doing.
Yeah, and Rachel, I couldn't agree more with you. I think getting into organizations, doing a training, because they have training budgets. They may not have a coaching budget, but they will definitely have a training budget. So if you can bring training, and by the way, you did have a signature program, you just didn't know it. Because you sent me an email and said, here's this thing, here's how I help. You had your model, your 4P model of helping people through cringe moment conversations. So bringing that in gave you credibility rather than saying, I'm going to come and coach you, right?
Yes. There's some, it's better than it used to be, but there's still a little bit of hesitancy about coaching field. I have to be vulnerable. And we all know people do become vulnerable when they create a trust with the coach. However, if they start out more cerebral, like, here's a problem in our organization that we're working on, then you back into the coaching. And you're always listening and looking at what is going on in this organization where I could be of help. And I always suggest, don't necessarily start with the biggest companies. Start with smaller companies who may not have an HR person, or a medium-sized company. You don't necessarily start with General Motors and IBM. That's great if you can do that, but I start a little bit smaller.
Yes.
And then look at, like, the Chamber of Commerce has all of these meetings, a multitude of meetings, and they have a list of, like, Rotary and Lions Club and Kiwanis offer to do a presentation, maybe a presentation about resilience or some topic that is relevant. And from there, I have gotten many other pieces of work from just the presentations.
Mm-hmm. Great ideas, Rachel. And Jeff has raised his hand. Jeff, do you have a question for Rachel?
Yes, Rachel, what would be, and thank you for sharing your story. It is amazing. What, if you could say, were 1 or 2 things that really jump-started your business? I know that you worked with Karen, but when you said, okay, I'm kind of focusing now, what 2 things really helped get your business off the ground?
I would say those market research conversations, Jeff. first I went to the chancellor of the organization where I had the contract. And I said, COVID has shut down the college. What is your biggest concern? I was asking him. I wasn't saying anything about what I could do. I was asking him, what's on your mind? What keeps you up at night? And I was hearing things like, the faculty has always been resistant to creating online coursework. Now we have to turn it fast, like in 2 weeks. And he was dealing with resistance, and he was dealing with fear, of course. So I worked with him just pro bono. Let's talk about some ways that we might be able to help this cadre of faculty. From there, that led to other things. I asked him to make a couple of introductions for me. And then I worked for a company called Radiology Limited. It's a very large medical imaging company. And I went back to the physicians that I had worked with and to check in on them and let them know what I was getting ready to do. And they offered to make introductions. But for me, Jeff, that was the way I went about it. And then there was a friend of mine. Let me just tell you this other story first. I am a former president of the International Association of Law Firm Executives, and I had done a couple of presentations for the chapters in that group and had done it on Zoom, but due to COVID. And I got a call from headquarters asking if I would be willing to lease my program to them for 100,000. Well, that just it felt like it came out of the blue. But when I look back, I had done the footwork by doing those presentations to those chapters. So also, Karen asked me a great question when we were working together. And that was, when I look back over my career, I worked at NASA and New York City law firms, high-tech company, medical. She said, what's a common thread across those organizations where you just felt you were shining? And I said, helping senior leaders deal with difficult challenges or difficult conversations. She said, that's it. There you have it. So we came up with the tagline, imagine emerging from a cringe moment conversation with dignity, respect, and a path forward. So that I was like, yes, that's it. But did I think of that on my own? It was when she asked me that question. So I encourage all of you in the room today to think about, when you are at your best, it doesn't even seem like work. What is it that you're doing? That's probably where your genius gifts are, and what you can think about. How could you contact people you know, or people you would like to know, if someone could make an introduction for you. I find people really do want to help other people. It's rare somebody says, no, I'm not helping you with this.
Rachel, you help them and they help you. Jeff, is that enough for now? Because I know we have another hand up.
Absolutely. That's good.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Andra.
Hello, Rachel. Thank you for sharing your story. That was great. So you've kind of dropped another element into the coaching path in terms of having courses or training or things like that. Given that I'm only on the coaching path, I don't have any training. I have facilitated and I have presented and I've been a presenter, but I don't have content for that. So if you can just speak to that, because here I'm, thinking all I'm doing is going to be coaching, and I understand what you're saying, but I would like any more information.
Well, you've just mentioned another way to get into organizations, and that is facilitation. Every organization I know has meetings and retreats and planning sessions, and you don't have to have a tremendous amount of content because you're working with whatever their agenda is. But the skills of facilitation are fabulous. You can use those skills for training. When you think about your work as you've gone through life, what subjects are just really easy for you?
Well, my focus is on communication and being able to have ease of connection and build relationships, and that's been my strength in business.
Okay, that is a terrific topic for any size of organization. As we all know, misunderstandings can happen. Just this week, I was dealing with one between a CEO and a chief marketing officer. They both speak English, but somehow they got so sideways with assumptions and they were not listening to each other. So anything around communication, communication within teams, how do you get through a conflict if that's part of your tools also. Those communication is a big one. It's never going to go away because we see world wars break out because of miscommunication and misunderstandings. But if that's a comfortable topic for you, I would encourage you to go with that. Karen will tell you to go with what comes easy. What like when she was asking me, I said, I am at my best when I'm supporting people that are in distress with conflict and with, say, they're having to do a downsizing or some painful thing. I'm at my best. Other people would be like, oh my God, I'd be running for the hills. But that's why we're all different, and that makes the world a whole lot better. But I bet you could really get going with that, and then that would lead seamlessly into coaching.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Beautiful, Rachel. Anybody else have a question for Rachel? Rachel, is there anything that you really want to say to this group of amazing coaches based upon all of your experience in the field?
I would say trust yourself more than you may not give yourself enough credit. I'm one of those who anytime there's a new training or a new certificate, yep, got to do that. But you don't necessarily have to keep doing that. Trust your own wisdom, and life itself teaches us an awful lot. And I think when we show up fully present for others, that in and of itself is a gift, because it's so rare that people are fully present with us. But coaching, facilitating, training, all of those things fit nicely together. And I'm always clear if I'm coaching that I say that, and versus I'm consulting, so that I don't confuse the other person. The ICF courses, of course, are a wonderful foundation for any of us that are into coaching. But I would say also, let the river flow. Get in the canoe and just flow with the river rather than trying to push the river. It's kind of hard to do that. And I have found that one thing has led to the other. I don't do much on social media now. It was getting to be too much for me to handle. And I didn't, this sounds not quite the way I wanted to. I didn't need the extra business. And what I found was people did not want me to send someone else, like someone who might say that they were interested in what I was doing. And I know that goes back to relationships. The whole thing is about relationships. So I wanted to limit what I was doing, but to do it well and not be scattered so much across too much where I couldn't handle it smoothly.
Yes. Well, Rachel, it looks like we have two more questions.
All right.
Sasha?
Yeah, my question is around team coaching and how you see it on the market, the need from companies, from small, medium, and large companies. This is the topic that I didn't hear mentioned.
Team coaching is really gaining momentum, and where I do that is I've done it mostly with university teams. Let's see, 18 months ago, a veterinary school, a part of a big university, contacted me. This was a new school, new college within the university, and they were trying to get everything together during the pandemic, all of them remote. So they were having trouble understanding each other's role. They were stepping on each other. So I worked with that team individually as well as with the team. So I hear more about team coaching than one-to-one. The one-to-one comes once you get in there and get going, but the team coaching can just be so powerful. I
Yes.
see it small to large. They're all engaged with team coaching.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big deal. And Sandy, I know you have a question for Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel, for sharing your story. I'm curious, when you were doing your market research conversations, was your signature program already created, or did you use some of that information to create the program? And then one additional piece is your program a certain number of sessions or hours or months?
Very good questions. So I did have an outline and a framework for the signature program, and what I did was vet it, if you will, asking the folks I was speaking with in the market research, what did they think of the program? Would it be of value? And I said I was thinking of charging X number of dollars, and all of them told me you're not charging enough. Well, that was nice news to hear, rather than, oh my goodness, this is so outrageous. So that was very helpful to me to know what their thinking was around the. And right now, most of my the programs around cringe moment conversations are 8 weeks. But within that 8 weeks, I am watching and observing, and I go back at about the 6th week and say, within a couple of weeks, we'll be completing this first phase. Here are some thoughts about ongoing work. And I go back to them with another proposal. And I want, now that you mentioned your questions, I wanted to say also, when I do an initial proposal, I also do it in the form of, it's like a page and a half. And I say something to the effect of, based on our conversation, it is my understanding you would like a third party neutral to work with your team. And then I say, here are some options to consider. And I usually give 3 options with varying prices and varying services. The third option is the most robust, if you will. Almost, I'd say 90% of the time they pick the middle one. It's just human nature, I guess, to go for the middle one. And that has worked very well for me, to offer those options. And then often the whoever the sponsor is will come back and say, I really like what we're doing. I would to add this on. Well, we can always do that part of it. But I like to offer them choices versus this is the one and only option. And again, I say if I was doing an 8-week sessions with a university group or any group, I would say that for $50,000, and then I would state what is in that, so that I'm not charging for every single phone call that someone might make to check in for 5 or 10 minutes. And then on the other side, they know what their budget is. Here's another tip for you. If you're not certain what would be palatable for a prospect, you might just ask them, can you give me a budget range for what you want to achieve? And they will tell you 20 to 30,000, something like that. And don't go for the lowest number that they give. As I almost always go for the highest number, and then certainly you deliver the work. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome.
I knew you were going to say go for the highest number. I love it. And I want to say we do have, for those of you who've registered for QSI, I have a 3-part interview that I've done with Rachel about this whole process that she uses, that she's just talked about, in getting kind of conceptual agreement and how to really move along the process. So we have those. Remember we did those, Rachel? That was a while ago.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Karen. I think that conceptual agreement is so critical to buy in, if you will, because you're repeating back, this is what I hear you say as a need that you're experiencing. And then I am thinking about what I can offer pretty quickly, but we are agreeing conceptually, and then I put it in writing.
Yes. That's one thing that I always say, don't send a proposal unless it's already been agreed upon, because I see people creating these beautiful proposals and then nobody reads them.
Yes. And that's a waste of everyone's time. And also, I'm not a big fan of a lot of cold calling. I prefer what you teach, Karen, the market research with people I know or someone I've been introduced to that I may not know, but we have that mutual acquaintance. So that is an icebreaker, if you will. And then there's nothing wrong with telling people, I would really like to meet so-and-so. Do you know anyone who could make that introduction? And it's amazing how, well, yes, I actually know someone that could make that introduction.
Yeah, people want to help. Rachel, do you have any final words for us? We're coming kind of to the bottom of the hour here.
Well, time just flies when you're having fun, right?
No.
First, I would like to offer, if I can be of any support and you have questions about me or what I've been, how I do things, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're all in this world to help each other. And I am more than happy to share what I can. And is this the QSI group or this is the Business Boost?
This is the Business Boost. Some have registered for QSI. And Rachel, if they do want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Oh, the best way is Rachel.Schamming. It's SCHAMING @outlook.com. And my final thing I would say to you is the best investment I have made in myself, other than working one-to-one with Karen, was the QSI program. I learned so much, and it is such a boost to your business without having to basically kill yourself.
Rachel, we had so much fun, and it's such an honor really to have worked with you, and thank you for coming back and sharing your wisdom and being willing to support the coaches, because I know you have so much to give, and I am always in amazement of you. You know, I wrote happy birthday to you on Facebook, and you said, yeah, 83 years old, and you're still going strong. You know, it's just such an...
Oh, that's another thing. Do not use age as an excuse. That's a whip out. Now, don't be doing that. The other thing, don't charge too little.
Yes.
You're worth a lot of money, and organizations will pay money because they need your help.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. Can we just have a big round of applause for Rachel? What a great example and inspiration you are for all of us. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Okay, so for this, we are complete for this quarterly Business Boost. Anyone who wants to find out more, reach out to Katie. And thank you so much, all of you, for being coaches and for helping all the people you do. And thank you for being here with us, Rachel.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Karen, Katie, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.